After catching up on our latest international exploits, it's time to find out how FC Vaduz fared in the 2027-28 Europa League. After a small scare against Hearts in the qualifiers, we entered the league phase once again, optimistic about beating some of our opponents, but not all of them. Thankfully, we avoided the big boys for our first two games, heading to Hungary, where Jankovic got us off to a flyer with two early strikes inside the first 20 minutes. Nico Hellbach then showed there was perhaps hope for life after Kraus and Burmester, and in the second half it was the old guard of Fabio Fair and Rodrigo Holgado who made sure of the emphatic 5-0 win. We had to dig a little deeper against Djurgårdens, but came away with all 3 points. Off to a positive start then, but next we would face Ajax and Borussia Dortmund. In Amsterdam we struggled, falling behind to goals from Kovalenko and Kian Fitz-Jim. Leave a comment if you recognise that name. We kept pushing to find a way back into the game though, and Pascal Olner gave us hope with this thunderbolt. But 2-1 was how it would finish. That gave us hope that we could perhaps get a result at home to Dortmund, but a silly foul in a dangerous position allowed Julian Brandt to step up. Much like against Ajax, we kept going in injury time, and Holgado somehow missed that one. From point-blank range, we kept the pressure on, and Hellbach's header also didn't find the net, as we suffered a close 1-0 defeat. There was a sense as we took on AZ Alkmaar that we needed a big win, and we got it. Nico Hellbach bagging a brace in the first half, and then Alabakir adding an exclamation mark to an effective performance in stoppage time in a comfortable 3-0 win. Much like against Djurgårdens earlier in the competition, we had to work hard against Sheriff Tiraspol, late goals from Olwang and Jankovic squeezing us over the line, all of which left us just outside the top 8 heading into our final 2 games. But they would not be easy games at all, as we would face Club Brugge and AC Milan away. We hosted the Belgians first and got off to a great start thanks to Fabio Fair. We were, however, pegged back to 1-1 by half-time, and it would take a late strike from Rodrigo Holgado to help us scrape another win before that visit to the San Siro. But that proved not to be our night, a late surge from our illustrious opponents giving them a 3-0 win. So what did that mean for our quest to claim a top 8 spot and a bye to the round of 16? Well, it meant we actually dropped back to 12th in a tight league. That, combined with struggles in the Swiss League, more on those in the next episode, meant we had to revisit the transfer market in January. While Nico Hellbach has been in decent form, we would be screwed if he got injured. And so we brought in former Dortmund and Basel striker Bradley Fink. A failed spell at Middlesbrough where he made precisely 0 appearances meant a career rejuvenation was needed, so why not give him the chance? We also added some young backups to our attacking positions in the shape of Dennis Keigan, signed from Mainz, where a few seasons ago he had seemed to be on the verge of breaking into the first team, but in recent seasons had his first team place stolen by this guy. We also splashed out a whopping 51,000 for Czech international Martin Kuchta coming in from Sparta Prague, and definitely one for the future. New signings now registered, we faced Genk in the Europa League playoff round and got off to the perfect start, Pascal Olner scoring after 24 seconds, with new boy Dennis Keigan introducing himself in style in the second half for a solid away win. In the return leg, another new face, Bradley Fink, kicked off the night scoring. Usyk then added another, before Rodrigo Holgado netted twice late on for a more than comfortable 6-0 aggregate win. Into the round of 16 then, and a tie with Wolves, a team that had spent big in recent seasons, bringing in the likes of Tariq Lamptey, Conor Gallagher, Vendel, Kangin Lee, and Japanese superstar Kyogo Furuhashi. And on a freezing night in Vaduz, it was indeed the Japanese star who would make the difference, scoring the first leg's only goal on 15 minutes. In the slightly warmer climes of the Midlands, we were never really in it, and Patson Daka sealed our fate as we went out 2-0 on aggregate. So another decent, if not spectacular season in Europe. Let me know how you think we did in the comments, and check here to find out how we got on in the league.